Hello. I think I look kind of spooky in this lighting. When I started out about to make this video, it was light out. But then just as I was sitting down, my son called me. So I wound up having like a half an hour conversation. Now the sun's completely gone. So I look kind of spooky. But anyway, this is Faith and Books. And this is my Friday update. And there's not really that much to tell that's new. I have been reading this really charming book. Can you see that? This is, with the 5-year-old, he's really into little woodland critters like squirrels and rabbits and that sort of thing. And I've been reading him Thornton Burgess books, which most of them are put out by Dover Publication, these like little paperback, very slim books. But this is the only one that I know of that's published differently. Who published it? Henry Holt and Company, and it's illustrated by a different illustrator, Michael Haig. But anyway, I can see why they picked this one, because it's really it's just like the perfect quintessential Thornton Burgess book about Peter Rabbit and Happy Jack Squirrel and Bobby Coon and Reddy Fox and all these, Jimmy Skunk. And Old Mother West Wind and the Merry Little Breezes. There's just really, really charming stories about all these creatures that live in the green meadows. And let's see, Hootie the Owl, all sorts of. And they're just perfect for a 5-year-old. And the chapters are short, and they have like little morals to them. And they're funny. And just, here's Billy Mink's swimming party. So anyway, we've really been enjoying this, and he's been asking for it, and we're almost through. Yeah, we've only got 3 chapters to go. So that's been a really fun thing. I read this out loud to my kids when they were little, and now I'm reading it. I've never owned the book. I should probably get a copy of it. It's worth it. Anyway, so that's one thing I've been reading. Another thing I've been reading is this one, Holy Women. I've been doing this in the afternoon. After I take my grandson home, I come back and I let the 5-year-old play on the Switch, plays his, I don't know, Sonic game or whatever it is. And I sit in the recliner and I read a few sentences and I doze off very uncomfortably. And that's how I get my second wind. But I've been reading this, and this is really a compilation of Pope Benedict's sermons, or whatever you call them, homilies, not homilies, but talks at the general audience throughout the year 2010 and into 2011. And he was just doing it on a theme of women. And so it's interesting because like I said in a previous video, I didn't really know about a lot of these. And you can really tell that Pope Benedict was German, because he really knew his German history. So these saints like Saint Matilda and Saint Gertrude, and there's just a lot of like obscure German history here. Like he starts this out: Saint Gertrude the Great brings us once again to the monastery of Helfta, which apparently was this great monastery where several of the Latin German masterpieces of religious literature were written by women. So it's an interesting glimpse into history that I know nothing about, and I'm reading it really slowly because I just read a few paragraphs and then my eyes close. So, but I am enjoying it, so I'm just gonna gently work my way through this one. And then I have been, I went on hiatus with this book. And I finished it over the weekend like I wanted to. I finished up to the point that I needed to read to before the live stream that this reading group is doing. And it's hosted by Dostoevsky in Space, the Codex Cantina, Peg at the History Shelf, and Victoria the Musical Bookworm. So they're hosting this read along, and I read up to that over the weekend. I was successful in that plan, and then I put it down. I've been reading Les Miserables instead. But we had the live stream discussion where they talk, and we have live chat. We can contribute that way, and it was very interesting. And so now I have to get back to it. I'm going to read Les Miserables tonight, but then I'm going to start back into this again. It's I'm not sure what my schedule is going to be, but we're supposed to have it finished by the end of March. So I'm really enjoying it. There's so much to it. This time around, I think I'm more critical. The first time when I was just listening to it, I was just awed. I was just absolutely gobsmacked. This time I'm reading it a little more critically. So, I don't know. And I'm also, I've been, on my Kindle, I've been reading a book called, and I keep mentioning this book, Dostoevsky's Incarnational Realism by somebody, Paul Contino or something like that. It's on my Kindle. And I've been reading that at night when I can't sleep. And it is just the key to this book for me. I mean, I knew, like sometimes I have feelings, but I don't have the words to articulate. And I knew so much was going on a theological level in this book. But I didn't really know, I got glimmerings of it, but I didn't really know. I couldn't articulate it. I couldn't make it into a cohesive understanding. But this, the incarnational realism has really, really been a phenomenal help for me. And it's really gotten me interested in theology again, which I go in and out of, but I do enjoy theology. It made me pull out this book. I have this, because I had to look up some of the words in that incarnational realism, because he really is doing deep theology. And like, what's the word? Kenosis, Greek, emptying, the self-abasement that the second person of the Trinity underwent in the incarnation. Then he cites Philippians and Corinthians. This did not and could not mean abandoning the divine nature or any of its essential properties. Rather, it entailed accepting the limitations of a human existence that ended with the utter humiliation of death by crucifixion. In modern times, a number of Anglican, Catholic, Orthodox, and Protestant theologians have adopted kenosis as a central theme for their Christology. So, well, he talks about that a lot. So, and that Dostoevsky is portraying that. So anyway, I'm really finding this a great help. So I am enjoying the Brothers Karamazov, even though I'm enjoying it in a different way than I did the first time. And then the other book that I'm really reading is Les Miserables. I wanted to get 100 pages in. I had done 100 pages last, but I'm only on 159. I slowed up because the book begins with this wonderful character building of really profound sketch of this bishop, this Monsignor Bienvenu. And then he meets Jean Valjean. And the whole story is just lovely. And then it suddenly abruptly stops. And he goes into this like few pages where he's just describing the year 1817, and he's using all these cultural references and listing all these obscure people, at least to me. I didn't know anything. So I have, for a couple of pages, I was just reading and I had no comprehension of what he was referring to. And then after that, he goes into, we're introduced to Fantine, but it's a very flippant style. Like, he's being very condescending. And he gets very, he's writing in the 1800s, right? And he's French. Sorry, anybody who's French, but they're weird about women. And so it gets very kind of condescending about women, and there's just sort of a mocking tone to it that I found a bit grating. But then it switched again. I think when they write these long books, like with the brothers Karamazov too, and they wrote them in serial form. I think they got bored with using the same techniques, and so they would get through one part of the story and then they'd switch up their writing style. And sometimes that's can be a little off-putting or annoying even, especially if you're really enjoying one part of the story and then suddenly it switches. It can be sort of disorienting, I think. But anyway, I'm going to try and read tonight as much as I can, but then I'm going to stop and get back to the brothers Karamazov. So that's that. But I'm going to work through it. It's going to take me forever, though. It's really going to take me forever. This is a project. And then I guess the last thing that I wanted to show you is I got another book. This is on Hildegard of Bingham, Selected Writings, the Penguin Classics. And I'm going to start going through this. And at some point, when, I don't know. But I really would like to read this. It's not the type of thing you read, all the way through, starting from the beginning and working through to the end. It's more like pick up and read something and then, or it might be good for like a morning meditation or something like that. But anyway, that's my latest acquisition, so I'm happy I got that. And I want to thank people for responding about my question about organizing books. I would really like to know how people do that. Because I'm really trying to think about, I don't know why I'm thinking about it right now, because gardening is coming up. Like I'm growing seedlings, and I've never been very good at growing seedlings, so this year it looks good, so I'm trying to harden them off, remember to put them outside in the cold air for a little while, get them used to it so that they're not so shocked when I plant them. And there's all sorts of things I have to do in the garden. It's supposed to be a little bit warm. It was cold today. But it's supposed to be a little warmer tomorrow, and it's supposed to be sunny, or partly sunny anyway. So I think I will just try to devote a lot of time to my garden this weekend to try to get it all prepped and ready. And I think, in my head I had all these things I wanted to talk about, but now I'm talking to my son. He had just finished reading, oh my goodness, what's the name of the book? Ode to Catalonia? No, that wasn't it. Is that what you call it? I'm looking around for my phone to Google it. But it's a George Orwell book, my homage to Catalonia. My husband read that a few months ago and really, really enjoyed it. And I guess my son must have chatted about it because he just finished listening to it on audio. So he had to call me and tell me all about how much he really likes George Orwell. Anyway, so I think that's it. I know I had other stuff I wanted to say, but I didn't write it down, so I don't know. Oh, in the description box below, I'm gonna link a video of it has to do with the Catholic Climate Covenant, and the reason why I'm gonna link it is that I forgot the book. That's what I forgot, because my parish, I was part of this project where we were doing this thing for the season of creation for Pope Francis's Laudato Si, and the kids illustrated pictures about the environment in St. Francis, and then we have a guy at our parish who's really good at graphic design and stuff, and he combined it into a book, and they use, in this video that I'm going to link to, they use images from that book. And I was the one that helped get the RE teachers to get them to understand the point of the whole project and that sort of stuff. So I had to get up and talk to people about it. So anyway, so you can see the images and you can see what people are doing, if you're interested. The first part, you have to wait a little bit before you start seeing the images. There's 4 of them, and you'll know what they are. They're illustrations by kids from my church. With a quote. So anyway, so I'm going to link to that below. So I have babbled enough. I hope you had a great reading week, and I hope you're doing well. And I'll talk to you later, and happy reading. Bye.